What's good with YouTube? You already know Big Flocka with a convict's perspective, and I'm smashing, dashing, sliding on through that little bit of energy. Please hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all those things to help support this channel, and hit that bell notification for future fire content. So this is a video that I did about 6 months ago, I think, man. On Real Talk that only got like about 350 views because Real Talk kind of disappeared. And it's kind of relevant because I see the questions on a lot of different people's channels, and people's lives and videos. And so I decided to bring this one topic up that I already did 6 months ago, and it's more in regards to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Is what people say on YouTube and discuss on YouTube considered fucking snitching? Is it considered dry snitching? What is my personal opinion? Now, bear in mind, this is only my opinion. My opinion is only mine and mine only. And it's not any shots at anybody in general. But this is how I kind of look at this topic and generalize it as far as in my perception of what I'm discussing. This is what I personally think. But that's okay if you don't agree with me. You could agree with me or disagree. But this is just a personal opinion, guys. With that said, enjoy this video. I do want to say one thing. Since I've done this video, there's been a few new channels that have popped up, man. So some people walk a very good line as far as in these new channels. Some don't, though. This is just my personal opinion. So bear in mind, this doesn't apply to anybody. Just as a generalized topic.
And so, look, man, with YouTube, man, there's a lot of different channels out there, prison genre, streets, gangs, whatnot, right? And a lot of stuff is discussed. You know, some of it's past tense, some of it's present, you know, which puts people in a uncompromising situation at times. It could, you know what I'm saying? So, I want people's opinions, right? Is YouTube considered dry snitching? Exposing information, people's AKAs, their status, their standings, their past crimes. What is your opinion on that? Now, I'm kind of from the old school, and what I mean by that is that there was a time period when we hit a prison yard, we were not even supposed to acknowledge that we were fucking North Daniels. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to try to go out there and get to the main line and get off and handle our business if we had to, or security. And if you're part of one of these organizations, NF and whatnot, MA, at no time are you really supposed to acknowledge your standings to anybody. You know what I'm saying? As far as on social media and whatnot. And as North Daniels, we're not supposed to, as North Daniels and whatnot, you're not supposed to acknowledge the existence of these groups. Structure, Nuestra Raza, NF. You're supposed to dismiss all that. You know what I'm saying? It's basically, you're acknowledging that there's an existing movement or there's an existing organization. You're giving them credibility. In addition, there's sometimes people will talk about people's statuses like this such and such. Joe Blow from fucking Visalia, he was a Garnal. Where is a Garnal? He's looking at this much time. He did this and that back in the day. All that could actually really be used against him in some sense to corroborate what's already known. Now, you could sit there and say, well, this is already known, this is put out there, the cops already know it. Still, in a lot of people's eyes back in the days, that would constitute enough grounds to have be removed, to be considered telling. You know, each group has a different type of philosophy and how they apply this. You know what I'm saying? But to acknowledge that there's an existence of these groups, you're basically telling on that group. You're giving credibility. There was a one channel, there was that Crip case where that shot caller got indicted federally. Right, that was trying to bring peace amongst the hoods. I think he was from East Coast or A-Tray. I don't remember. They actually used YouTube videos to corroborate his existing position within that gang. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's only a matter of time where some of these videos could be subpoenaed by the district attorney to be used as in their discovery, defense attorneys and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So that's something people have to take heed to, man. You know, now I get it, if it's already public information that's put out there, then you establish that. You know, me, I don't really worry about what I put out there. I don't think it's going to really personally change anything in how I'm looked at. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm not going to do anything that's going to incriminate them. But even if you're not doing anything that incriminates them, you're also corroborating their standings and status, past crimes and whatnot. District attorney, next thing you know, has it on fucking in front of the fucking jury. Oh yeah, such and such from my town was a guy. Nah, he was fucking a hitter. Bam. You know what I'm saying? It's basically corroborated and established. So, you know, there's no really difference in all sense of whether you're directly or indirectly. And that's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? People they think that it's okay to speak freely about certain things at times, man, but basically you're giving credibility to like their AKAs, where they're from, and you can sit there and use that excuse. Well, they already know that. That's beside the point. If you're functioning within a righteous line, you don't admit no existence or no knowledge of anything. And that's just the truth of it, man. You know, there's a couple people who their channels, they walk a very thin line and they don't mention nobody. They won't mention no names or even those groups. And so they're pretty much able to fucking weave. But then there's people that talk about this person from that person, that, whoa, he did this or he did that, this happened here. You're basically giving all kinds of information out there for law enforcement, different agencies, child court, all that stuff, attorneys, to be used against it. I mean, this is true. It's leverage. And a lot of times when we come on YouTube, we don't think about that. You know, but it's the truth. It's like the same thing with people who get too fucking freely, like in conversations on a tier somewhere, man. You're basically snitching on yourself because you know administration's down there writing everything down that you say. Or on the phone. You know that they're recording everything that's on the phone. You're jeopardizing yourself. You know. So I was kind of curious what the overall collective's, thought process was on this, man. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're putting comments and you're putting details, man, you're putting stuff out there, man. You know, I know sometimes people get caught up in their emotions. They hear about a homeboy they know and they're like, oh, it's a solid dude. But the truth of it is, look at what I'm saying. You know, if you ever push the righteous line, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I'd go in on my yearly review for ICC, you know what I mean? They ask you, do you want to brief? Do you ignore? I don't know no northern structure. I don't know no NF. What is that? You know what I'm saying? No family? You know, Nancy Flores? What does it mean? I've never heard of it. Oh, Familiano? Oh, he must care about his family. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're supposed to really portray yourself as far as in front of anybody when it comes in regards to these groups. Because if you start to admit the existence of their bonds, their bylaws, and how they structure themselves and how they rob, you're basically telling, man. You're exposing information. There's no other way around it. And that's just the truth. You're giving up the blueprint, even if it's already known. There's a lot of people that don't know. You know what I'm saying? And you're giving the existence that is true. You're corroborating what's already been heard throughout time. You know, and a lot of people don't look at it like that because they are too dense to realize that certain things could be used against other people. They just think it's, content that they could open freely and talk, and then they want to put themselves on a different level compared to other individuals who may have did this or did that. And that's not to sit there and take shots at anybody. It's just the truth of everything that you hear. You know what I'm saying? You talk about this and call this dude a carnal, then you're exposing information. You talk about the existence of who the general is or who fucking running the state, who's in conflict with the feds. You're basically acknowledging it. You're acknowledging who an MA member was. You're basically acknowledging their status. You're basically telling. You know what I'm saying? If you think law enforcement do not tap into our channels, they do. And I was just thinking about it, man, because sometimes you get little remarks to where they make remarks towards certain channels, but then they're okay with other channels doing certain things. So it's like, okay, well, hold on. What's the difference here? There is no difference. There's no different there to it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody says, telling is telling. And it's just the truth of it. So sometimes we have to be a little bit more cautious. And for some people, it ain't going to change how people look at them either way. So, you know what I mean? Whether it really is going to affect their cases or not, probably isn't. It just gives more corroboration. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you have 4 people telling and fucking one person over here says, well, hey, there's already 4 people telling. That's not an excuse, is it? You're still told. Same thing with this. I've seen people get deemed no good just for improper statements, man. So before you sit there and put yourself on a different pedestal towards others, look at your own actions of what you speak upon. And this goes into crime stories, gang stories on the street, people giving interviews to media. This isn't no shot at nobody. Because to be honest with you, I think everybody does it. And that's the goddamn truth, man. No one can sit there and tell me different because all you got to do is listen. You know what I'm saying? It's you're giving credibility to what's being said. Old school, we didn't get down like that. We weren't even supposed to say that we were Norteños. We were supposed to just say, whatever. I'm Raza, I'm whatever, or native, and just get to that line and try to establish it, man. But things change nowadays. People have a whole different outlook and perspective of what they accept and what they see things as. You know, you don't have to be fucking doing this and doing that to be telling, or to help out on the case, or to give information that can be used against other people. So that's the truth of it. I mean, what is everybody else's opinion on this, man? You know, now if you're just reading a article and going off that, or a legal documentation, and you're being clear, well, I'm not saying this is this, that, whoa. You're pretty much covering us, so you're only reading a document of what their name is, what they allegedly did, and what they're allegedly part of. See, you see what I'm saying? There's a whole different way that people can go about it with covering their tracks, you know? Anyways, this is the one thing I wanted to bring up because I think it's a good topic that people fail to look at it with an analytical perspective. Everybody wants to look at things with a closed mind because they don't want things to apply to them. So they have different set of rules for themselves than they do for others, you know? Anyways, tap into Real Talk with Flacco. Man, please hit the like, subscribe, hit the algorithm. Tap into Convict's Reaction, the new channel. I just pretty much had to transform everything because I couldn't just let it go to waste. You know what I mean? And a Convict's perspective, as always, man. This topic could be also discussed in other forms as well, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, child custody to anything that gets too personal. You know what I'm saying? That could affect other people by what you're speaking on, which is pretty much everything on YouTube now. But you know, social media wasn't like this, like I said, 20 years ago, at arm's reach, to where you could have everything that you want to hear and talk about. And it didn't give other people like myself a platform to where we could discuss these things, man. It's a trip, huh? If you really think about it, man. Who thought 20 years ago you would have former members of gangs and organizations and be up on here talking about activities that they were involved in, their knowledge, their experience? I never thought you would ever see that, man. You know? So forever there'll be a little fucking little mark next to our names and shit, you know what I mean? Pioneered this shit. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Real Talk with Flacco. Hope you guys have a positive one, man. Let me know what your opinion is in the comments. I'm gone.